Good morning, my dear student. Let's start our today's science class. In our previous video, we have learned about the useful microorganisms. In this video, we are going to proceed our next topic, that is the use of microorganism in the field of medicine. So let's start our today's topic, that is useful microorganisms or importance of microorganism in the field. So let's start our today's science class. In our previous video, we had learned about the useful microorganisms and we had discussed about making of food items by the help of microorganisms. Also discussed about commercial use and medicinal use. In medicinal use, we had discussed about the production of antibiotics. In this video, we are going to learn about vaccination. Before that, let's revise antibiotics. Do you remember what is antibiotics? Okay, I will tell you. A medicine that inhibits the growth of or destroys microorganisms. So, example, we have streptomycin, tetracycline, erythromycin are some of the commonly known antibiotics that are made from fungi and bacteria. I also told you about the first antibiotic to be discovered was penicillin, and it was prepared by a fungus called Penicillium notatum. So, my dear student, let's start our today's topic. So, let's start our next topic, that is vaccine. So, let's talk about production of vaccines. So, microorganisms are also used in the production of vaccines. Vaccines protect humans and other animals against several diseases by providing immunity against the concerned disease. So microorganisms, they are also very helpful in production of vaccines, and by the help of vaccines we can protect ourselves from different kind of diseases because it provides immunity to our body. Now, immunity, what is immunity? The ability of one's body to resist a disease is known as immunity. So, immunity against a particular disease can be developed by a technique called vaccinations. Now, what is vaccination? What is vaccine? So, vaccines are dead or weakened microbes introduced into the body to produce antibodies. So, it means that a small dose of dead and weakened disease causing microbes used to stimulate immune responses in the body is called vaccine. So, vaccines are the very important substance because whenever they are introduced to our body, they stimulate immune response in the body. It means stimulate means what? They make our immune system more and more active so that our immune system, it can respond towards any kind of invader or any disease causing microbes which tries to destroy our body. So, how vaccine work? So, when a vaccine is introduced in the body of a healthy person, it acts like antigen. And what is antigen? So, antigens, they are the foreign substances which tries to cause disease. Means that a substance that enters the body and start a process that can cause disease. Now, the body then usually it means that the body then usually produce substances that is called antibodies against these introduced microbes. So, these antibodies remain in the body and protect against future infections of the same microbes. And our body also remember how to fight the microbes if it enters again. So, several diseases including cholera, tuberculosis, smallpox, tetanus, polio, hepatitis B can be prevented by vaccinations. So the first vaccine was developed by English scientist Edward Jenner in 1798. So Edward Jenner, a British doctor, discovered the vaccine for smallpox in 1798. So do you know the polio drop given to you in your childhood are actually a vaccine? So nowadays a number of vaccines are available in the market to prevent us from several diseases. So my dear student, our next topic is increasing soil fertility. So in the previous chapter we have learned about rhizobium bacteria. These are present in the root nodules of leguminous plant. Rhizobium bacteria absorb nitrogen gas from the atmosphere and convert it into a simple nitrogenous compound called nitrates. After harvesting, when the roots decompose, the nitrates present in the root nodules mix with the soil and enrich it with nitrogenous compounds and hence increase the soil fertility. Some bacteria and blue-green algae living in the soil also fix atmospheric nitrogen as nitrates. Next, we have commensals. So, what is the meaning of commensals? Commensals means living in a relationship in which one organism derives food or other benefits from another organism without hurting it. So, some microorganisms live inside our body and they help in certain functions of our body. So, there are some microorganisms, they used to live inside our body and they help to our body in certain functions. For example, some bacteria in our gastrointestinal tract help in digestion. So there are some bacteria which used to live in which used to help in the process of digestion, and they are present in our gastrointestinal tract. It means that they are present in our digestive system and help in the process of digestion. So these type of organisms which reside or live in our body and are beneficial as well as. So such organisms or microorganisms we call commensals. So next topic is cleaning the environment. So really this is very important to keep our surroundings, to keep our environment neat and clean. The microorganisms decompose dead organic waste of plant and animal by converting them into harmless, simple substances which are restored or returned to the soil and increase its fertility. In the absence of these microorganisms, the pile of dead organisms would have covered the earth. So, yes, if these microorganisms are not helping cleaning the environment, so all the dead remains of plants and animals lying here and there on our earth. So really they plays a very important role in cleaning the environment. Some bacteria decompose sewage and other wastage of water. This is a natural method to keep water clean. In this way, they help in keeping the environment clean. So now we have completed our topic useful microorganism, but some more uses of microbes we have. Let's talk about them. Bacteria are useful in leather and jute industry. So in leather industry, bacteria are helpful in tanning. So tanning is a process of treating skin of animals to produce leather. And in jute industry, bacteria help in ratting. So Retting is a process when the fiber is separate from stem of jute plant. Next is bacteria also help in generating biogas. They act on waste products like animals waste, garbage, agricultural waste, and produce biogas, and biogas is used as a fuel. Some bacteria live in the digestive system of ruminants like cows and goat. These bacteria help in the ruminants digest cellulose present in grass and plant. So that's all uses we have completed. So let's talk about harmful microorganisms. So microorganisms are harmful in many ways. Let us study the following harmful effect of microorganisms. So some of the microorganisms cause disease in human being, plant and animals. The disease causing microorganisms are called pathogens. Okay. Disease causing microorganisms in humans. So in humans, pathogens enter our body through the air we breathe, the water we drink, or the food we eat. They also get transmitted by direct contact with an infected person or are carried through animals. Microbial diseases that can spread from an infected person to other healthy person through air, water, food, physical contact, or by animals are called communicable disease. So what is the meaning of communicable disease? So communicable diseases are those diseases which can spread from infected person to healthy person. So example of some communicable diseases are cholera, common cold, chickenpox, and tuberculosis. Let us study in detail the various ways by which communicable diseases spread. So, first, through air we breathe. Microorganisms that cause common cold, tuberculosis, pneumonia, etc. spread through the air we breathe. For example, when a person suffering from common cold sneezes or coughs, fine droplets of moisture carrying germs are released in the air. When a healthy person breathes this air, the germs enter his or her body and infect the person. For this reason, we should keep our hand or handkerchief on our mouth and nose while coughing and sneezing. Now, through water we drink. So, from water also diseases spread. Some diseases spread through water. Example, cholera, typhoid, jaundice, hepatitis A, polio, etc. The cholera causing microbes enter a healthy person through the water he or she drinks and infect them. After floods or any other natural calamity, we are advised to drink boiled water because many disease causing microorganisms are present in the water at that time. Boiling of water kills the microorganisms. Through food we eat, protozoa, bacteria, and spores of fungi are present in the soil from where they enter our food. Therefore, we should wash fruits and vegetables after bringing them from the market and before them eating. So, our next topic is through insects and animals. There are some insects and animals which act as a carrier of disease causing microbes. These animals and insects are called vectors. So it means that vectors are the carrier of diseases. Vectors carry the disease causing microbes from an infected person to a healthy person and cause diseases. Some of the vectors are housefly. Housefly collect the disease-causing microbes on its legs and mouth part from feces and other organic wastes. So, my dear students, you know that houseflies, they used to sit on dirty and filth places, on garbages. So, from there, germs stick to their bodies and their legs, and whenever they used to sit on uncovered food, they cause it means they spread germs and diseases. So, housefly collect the disease-causing microbes on its legs and mouth part from feces and other organic wastes. The same housefly, when sit on our exposed food items, leave the disease-causing microbes on the food. When we consume such food, we get infected. Various diseases like cholera, typhoid, dysentery, and tuberculosis spread by houseflies through contaminated food and water. So, we should avoid eating uncovered food items. Mosquito. So, mosquito is also a carrier of disease. The female Anopheles mosquito sucks the blood of human being. While sucking blood, it transmits Plasmodium. Plasmodium is a protozoan, and Plasmodium is also a malarial parasite. So, while sucking blood, it means mosquitoes, that female Anopheles mosquito suck the blood of human being, and while sucking blood, it transmits Plasmodium, a protozoan, into the human blood. Plasmodium causes malaria. Aedes mosquito act as a carrier of dengue virus. All the mosquitoes breed in water. Hence, one should not let water collect in coolers, tires, flower pots, etc. By keeping our surroundings clean and dry, we can prevent mosquitoes from. So, let's talk about some general preventive measures against microbial diseases. Wash vegetables and fruits properly before eating. Boil drinking water, particularly when there are chances of infection. Keep the infected person in complete isolation. Keep the personal belongings of the patient away from those of the others. Maintain personal hygiene and good sanitary habits. Vaccination should be given at suitable age to get immunity. Maintain good sanitation in the community. Do not eat stale food. Stale food means the food which is not fresh, and the food which is not in good condition to eat. Protect yourself from mosquito bites by using mosquito nets and mosquito repellent cream. Do not allow water to collect in the surroundings to prevent breeding of mosquitoes. Spray insecticides. So, these are the preventive measures. Follow all these preventive measures. Now, that's all for today's class. The next topics we will read in our next video, and your homework is that you have to make neat and clean notes. Till that, revise all the topics which I taught you. Stay home, stay healthy, use mask and sanitizer, maintain social distancing. Thanks for watching this video.